Hey up, Gough, you all right?
All right, get it.
Still waiting for Spurs to turn up to that final.
Well, yes. Hey, just on the Scott Parker, remember when I came in, started last week, what did I say to you? One person that nobody's even talked about, who I think will get the job at Spurs?
Scott Parker.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it makes no sense, does it, really? When you think
I just think he might be... They've tried to go for the Mourinho situation. They got Poch. I know Poch had were doing a good job at Southampton when he came in. And Scott Parker's in a relegation fight, but he's been at Tottenham. He knows what it's about. And I think he just seems one of those guys who might get an opportunity at the top. That's my opinion on it. And I was amazed this weekend when I heard it, because, let's say,
you said it, yeah.
I said it a week earlier.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a little bit crazy, but we'll see.
I
what
do
happens.
too, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying why he would be a fit.
Yeah, if it happens, it's a little bit crazy, but I don't even think Spurs and Daniel Levy know what they're going to do next. So that's what we'll talk about that after 5, the final, reflections on the final and how bad Spurs were, how lucky they were that it was only 1-0. What next for Spurs? And I think a couple of questions on City as well. One is, what do 4 League Cup final wins in a row, what does that actually mean, if anything?
It just means they're a winning club. They just keep winning trophies.
But I think
trophy after trophy after trophy, I think it does count for it. Because how many times do we talk about that Manchester United team of the 90s and how many trophies he's got and how many he's got and how many... Well, these Manchester City players, what's Foden got now? 10. Yeah, a few of them he hardly played a game, but he did play... And he's got 10 trophies now at his age.
I think the reality is, all these trophies added up, and it's an incredible period in Manchester City's history, no doubt about it. The big one still eludes them. Might get it this year, we don't know, wait and see.
Hey, one thing on that. Don't you think it was quite clever in his press conference, though? He said, when he said, Guardiola said, the big one is still to come. And I thought, oh, Champions League. No, it's the Premier League. He still calls that the big one. He can't kid us. He can't... Come on, Pep. You know what's going to happen. If they do go and win the Champions League, he's going to be happier than anything you've ever seen before. Because that's the one he wants, desperate.
I think if you're comparing, I know you'll think differently, but when you're comparing Klopp and Pep, I think that with Pep trying to win every trophy on all fronts, something Klopp doesn't do, then, and there may be good reason for that.
Nobody else does.
No, but he really takes it seriously.
But it is squad. It is squad size, though, Ed. I mean, their squad, Manchester City. No, listen, the only team you can't just about pick the side every game is Manchester City. You haven't got a clue. With Solskjaer, you kind of know his best 11 who he's going to pick. And he's had to pick them at most to still be in a competitive position. He picks his best players all the time. But with Manchester City, I haven't got a clue on 4 positions every game. You don't know where he's going to go with it.
Well, congratulations to Man City anyway. We'll talk more about the final and Spurs and City after 5. One other question, which I'll let you all think about for the next hour or so. Did Raheem Sterling actually have a good game? Because I've heard people say he was terrific. I've heard people say that he should have been taken off long before the end. So we'll debate that after 5 as well. He did try very hard. End product just completely lacking, in my opinion. But so I was listening to the Game Day podcast. Sam Matface said he was terrific. That was the word he used, terrific.
I think there was plenty of energy, plenty of commitment from him. Got the ball. He tried to make things happen. He tried to take on the opposition, tried to run at Tottenham's defence, but it was always the ball was a yard too far in front of him all the time. That's what I got the impression with Raheem, when he's a little bit anxious with the ball at his feet. You know what I mean? He's trying to make things happen.
Yeah. We've got loads coming up on the show, including, by the way, Barnsley have secured a playoff place.
Can you believe that?
It's amazing.
It's an amazing story.
It is.
Last game of last season, and then this season, they've just been unreal.
Fantastic. I'll go through the ups and downs a little bit later on. Your say on the IPL. I'll be talking about the social media boycott as well. We'll hear again from Thierry Henry, who's on breakfast. And loads more coming up later in the show as well. But let's talk about Bruno Fernandes, because it does look... Dean Ashton was right. He was jogging around. I mean, it's not really having a go at him. We know how brilliant he's been, okay? So that's in the bag. He has been fantastic since he signed for Manchester United. But he's now gone 15 Manchester United games without a goal from open play. He's scored 3 penalties in that time. But by his standards, that's not great. And the energy levels are lacking. So is he being burnt out? Can you blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for him being burnt out as well, if that is the case? So let's have your thoughts on that. 08717 223344. And Gough, we've got to remember, he's going to be going to the Euros straight after the season finishes.
Well, I'm not worried about that.
Well, Man United might be for next season.
I'm not. I'd rather him tie Fernandes out than tie Kane out.
That's going to happen as well.
Well, he's played the same amount of games, right?
Shouldn't have played.
And he's had a few injuries. No, he should. But we know if Harry Kane said he wants to play, he's playing. Whether it's for England or Tottenham, if he said he's fit, they play him. And that's part of the problem. It doesn't seem as though anybody's strong enough to tell him, no, you're not ready, mate. He's done it now, Champions League? And he's done it now with England. He's done it with the other game. The other day he was jogging around, wasn't he? No real commitment from him on that front because he's not fully fit. And it is amazing. But with Fernandes, the situation, right, if we're going to be really honest, Solskjaer probably could have played Pogba in that position, more advanced role from time to time this season, rather than Fernandes. But when you've got a player, I think it's quite obvious to everyone out there, especially Man United fans as well, but he's everything that is Manchester United. He makes them tick. And I'm not too bothered about him scoring from open play because Manchester United have carried on winning and other people have scored goals. So it doesn't really matter that. It's a case of he's got a player, and I think he's done it throughout his whole team, where he's got the heartbeat of the team that play no matter what. And that's Rashford, that's Maguire, that's Lindelof, if he's fit, that's Shaw this year, McTominay. These guys have played the amount of games you would expect them to play in the Premier League season. It's no more than any other team. Look at the fixture all the way through the teams. You look at the big players, Vardy. You look at Salah. You look at Kane. You look at Fernandes. All these guys, Aid, have all played the same amount of games.
Well, let me take issue with you there because, and stats-wise, numbers-wise, you might be right. But could he have played fewer games? Bearing in mind how much he does when he's on form, and he hasn't been on top form for these last 15 games. And I know we're going by goals from open play, but before that, 4 times he scored 2 in a game this season. And his goal record before this run was really good for an attacking midfielder. If you look at, so Granada, for example, in the Europa League, they're 2-0 up from the first leg. Yep. He scored the away leg. He scored a penalty in that. He starts him in the home leg. Yeah. Played him for 70-odd minutes in that home leg, and they won it 2-0. Why is he being left on the pitch that long when they've got Donny van der Beek, who hasn't really done it, but probably...
Well, he brought on for a minute yesterday, wasn't he? Or something?
So you might say, well, he hasn't had a chance to show what he can do. Maybe he should have had more game time, and then Bruno wouldn't be so burnt out by now.
No, but listen, I agree. He's got options in there. But I think if you're a manager, Ed, in any sport, and you have a player, you know your team relies on that player, and you think he's a big part of everything goes through you, you want him to play all the games. You're not thinking about he might be tired, but perhaps in some of the games, he could have probably played Van der Beek in that position. He could have probably played Pogba in that position. And would it have made that big a difference for the odd game?
No.
I don't think it would have. But as I said, when you're in that position as a manager, unless you're Pep and that Manchester City squad, which is so big and so many players who he can play, you don't even have to play a centre forward. Do you know what I mean? It's different.
Well, it is and it isn't, because I'm going to labour this point, because with 5 Premier League games left, they are 12 points ahead of 5th place. They are 8 points ahead of 3rd place, Manchester United. So you're saying that barring some sort of unexpected total collapse, they are going to finish 2nd. So is this, just imagine, you've got the Europa League semi-final around the corner, then United hoping to get to the final, and they won't want to lose that to Arsenal, if Arsenal make it to the final as well. But just imagine the burnout by then. He needs, I think it's pretty clear to United fans, and they can let us know, he needs a rest. So isn't now the time for that rest? Obviously not with the Europa League semi-final around the corner, but Premier League-wise.
Yeah, but I think he wants to make sure they cross that line first and come second. I think he's desperate to come second now in that division.
Isn't that what separates the good managers? Because most managers in that position would know United are going to be okay. Ollie's panicking a bit because he's scared of failure.
I agree with you, Ray, but you look at Klopp during that magic, and is that coming back to bite him now? You look at Klopp the last few seasons and the amount of times that no matter what, Mane, Firmino and Salah used to start. I think he did change it a little bit last season. He did get a bit more confidence and started changing it a bit. But still, look how many times they started game after game after game. And it's same with Son and Kane. If they're fit, they're going to start.
Look at those Liverpool front 3 now.
Yeah, I know, but as a manager, you're not thinking in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time. There's not many managers can be put in that boat where they can just, listen, Kane scores all them goals year after year after year, but you know, I'll gamble against Burnley this weekend and not play him. And then if they don't get the win, he's going to be pulling his hair out for the next 3 days until the next game or 4 games. He should have played him. Should have played him. Should have played him.
Well, let's ask the United fans. Bruno hasn't scored from open play in 15 games. So is Ollie guilty of burning him out? 08717 22 33 44.